So this script treatment you sent over, the continuum, uh, government conspiracies, cyborg assassins, wow, a lone woman fighting for her life sounds like a wild ride. What jumped out at you when you first read through this thing, like from a technical perspective?
The really interesting thing about the continuum, at least for me, is the way it takes these like classic thriller elements, car crashes, secret labs, those shadowy organizations, all that, and blends it with these really thought-provoking sci-fi concepts. Like it uses those familiar tropes as a kind of springboard to really dive into bigger questions about identity, free will, and I think especially that line between humanity and technology, where does one end and the other begin?
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that a little. So the opening scene, right off the bat, it throws us right into the action. Sleek black car, torrential downpour, and bam, horrific crash. And we get just this glimpse of the driver, the woman, but the script really like lingers on the sensory details of that moment. Screeching tires, shattering glass, even the smell of gasoline and rain, it's all there.
Yeah, and that's smart,
Yeah.
immediately grounding the reader, putting us right there in the scene, even before we, fully understand what led to that accident or who this woman is, creates a sense of urgency, of danger.
It's like you're right there with her, feeling the impact. And then it shifts to this chaotic hospital scene, blaring alarms, frantic whispers, that sense that time is running out. Again, classic thriller stuff, but it's used effectively to just heighten that tension.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that unease is amplified, I think, by those little hints the writer throws in.
Yeah.
Something bigger is going on. Like, remember those shadowed figures lurking at the edge of the hospital room?
Huh.
Those flickering lights? Almost like whenever they were around, things would glitch.
Mm.
Intentional or not, it makes you wonder. It's not just an accident, is it?
And those little hints, they kind of bloom into a full-blown conspiracy pretty quickly. We learn about this organization, the Continuum. They've been watching her, orchestrating events. It's where the script transitions from just a grounded thriller into something much more, I don't know, unsettling.
Yeah, yeah. And the setting for that next part, the secret lab, it's perfect for it. Lets those sci-fi elements really take center stage. We go from the chaos of the hospital to this sterile, almost surgical environment. Glowing screens, massive machines, robotic arms assembling, well, something. I don't know what yet, but it's creepy. It's effective.
Like walking into a nightmare version of an operating room, right? And in the middle of it all, there's the woman lying on a table, totally at their mercy. But like you said, they're not just, treating her injuries, they're rebuilding her.
Right, and that's where things get really interesting, I think. That's where the script's exploration of identity, of agency, really kicks in. There's that one scientist, I don't know if you remember this line, but he says, she will be better than before, faster, stronger, smarter. And it's chilling, because it gets at the arrogance of it all, this belief that they can just remake a human being.
Yeah.
Like she's a machine to be tinkered with.
Yeah, it's really dehumanizing when you think about it, to just be reshaped according to someone else's, design. And the script really digs into that. There's that scene a little later where she sees her reflection for the first time.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That mirror scene. That's a big one. She's looking at herself, but it's almost like she doesn't recognize who's staring back. The script talks about how her movements are fluid, almost too perfect. Like it's emphasizing that uncanny valley thing. It makes you think. If your body isn't even really your own anymore, then what makes you you?
Right. And that question, it just kind of hangs over everything else. Like, it would have been easy at that point to just, go full action movie, just lean into the whole cyborg assassin thing. But the script keeps coming back to her identity, her fight for some kind of autonomy.
And that's what makes that moment, where she finally rebels so powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's not just escaping, it's rejecting the whole idea of being a weapon. There's that line, I think, right before she breaks out, where she just whispers, "This is not my story." Gets me every time.
And what an escape. Alarms are blaring, explosions everywhere. She's literally fighting her way out of this high-tech nightmare. But it's not just, mindless action either. The script makes a point of showing how smart she is, how she uses her new abilities strategically.
You got it. It would have been so easy to make her this, unstoppable killing machine, right? But the writer makes her vulnerable. Like, she's resourceful, things on her feet, but she's still outmatched, outgunned. At any moment, you could totally see her getting caught, which, honestly, just keeps you on the edge of your seat more.
Totally. And just when you think she might actually make it, the script throws in another twist. The assassins. And these aren't your average, thugs with guns.
No, not at all. These are they feel more deliberate. Each one with these very specific skills. The script describes them as sleek and silent, like shadows given form. Which, I mean, that tells you right there, these aren't your typical henchmen. There's something else entirely.
Yeah, they're almost like extensions of the continuum itself in a way. Like this really cold, calculated ambition,
Yeah.
and they are relentless. It becomes this high-stakes game of cat and mouse across the entire city. So we've got this chase going on right through the city. But it's not just about the action. This whole sequence, it really digs into these ideas about surveillance, control. Like the continuum is always there, watching, always a step ahead. Makes you think about, what are we willing to give up for security? How much are we already being watched? It's creepy.
It really is.
Right.
And it's not just the tech itself, is who's controlling it, how it's used. Like you said, control. The woman, she becomes, I don't know, almost a symbol for anyone who's ever felt like they're being manipulated, like a pawn in some big game they don't even understand.
And that leads to the final showdown, her versus the leader of the continuum, which, by the way, takes place in this incredible location. It's like this massive control room, like straight out of a Bond film, holographic displays everywhere. You really get a sense of just how powerful this organization is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like the writer threw everything in the kitchen sink at that scene. But at its core, it's really about these two ideologies clashing. You've got the leader, who truly believes, I think, that he's building a better world. No chaos, no conflict. But to get it, you have to sacrifice individual freedom. And then there's the woman. She's fighting for, well, the opposite, the right to choose, the right to be human, even with all the flaws that come with it.
And she makes a stand. She doesn't just, beat the bad guy. She dismantles the whole organization and exposes their secrets. Total David and Goliath moment, but it's not a clean victory, is it?
Oh, definitely not. I mean, she wins, but
Yeah.
the world is left to deal with the fallout, right? Knowing this organization existed, what they were capable of, and her. Even if people see her as a hero, she can't go back to who she was before. The script ends on this, I don't know, it's kind of a haunting image. She's walking away from it all. Her face is hidden in the shadows. Like, yeah, she's free, but at what cost? It's heavy.
This whole thing, the script, it stays with you. We've got the action, the big ideas, a character you can't help but root for. So, I mean, from a purely objective standpoint, the continuum, does it have what it takes? Could it be a hit?
I think so. More than a hit, honestly. It's got the potential to be one of those films that really gets people talking. It's a good time, don't get me wrong. But it also makes you think about the technology we use every day. Who's in control? What makes us human? If the script gets in the right hands, with the right director, the right actors, this could be something really special.
I'm with you on that. Absolutely. It's one of those stories that sticks with you. You find yourself thinking about the characters, the themes, even after it's over. The continuum is wild, it's exciting, and it makes you think. I would definitely watch this movie.